night sa kay talk show gid. Malbal ngila talk show tuling magibol bringa sulira bekla adal guk tune in.
Yeah.
Malungil tulig la seldo special Facebook community sa bedalo mes igel metrics igel numbers ra IDC ra adalo mes.
Yep.
Malungil plol nga tattelan madringil.
Right.
After the live بدأ ترى سيلمون ريول مجيمال برينا سولم مالونيل coverage را
Okay.
talk show كده every week so
Right.
ما نسولم نسي.
Okay.
دي وقت كل talk show format ترجيدا هذا بس كده هو بيبي update since Tuesday. سيجي تولين مال غنيار special guest ترجيدا لو بنجدر بسول. بسنجي ترى apart ترجيدا 2020 Koa Moana task force ترجيدا mission humanitarian exercise mission Uherbelau mo.
Right.
Wagel blamdong anya tiga tede indit terung amo participate ra talk show gidra algasus mga niya gidra Lieutenant Savannah Dean niya nurse di osil time OIC gel medical OIC gidra gid task force lay.
Right.
Lieutenant Ray Martinez environmental health officer tiga US Navy mga tangat lang سيجدر الخطر الميرا Uherbelau actually hindi ako الميرا دي ملامدال start mga dulo menteri communicate lo menteri nasada rolela quarantine rolela testing may rogul war precautions kidam le olingit tati kodam ring asulir ma adra tigelong ara tegid task force le tamal dim lo kongi gerogul onti den mutil الملاسم المكشول وسيجر رغويل سيدر مولا الغطمقل أو إرن توب در سيم even من Uherbelau سيجي دي متتلل التوك شو دي ركل غنيت تقال سيرا أضرب له لوجر رغو تتلل بريلين نرتيا عندي فرا مدرسة ستيا توك شو COVID-19 مترجع part سيجي del medical team.
Okay.
سيدر بكرة غنيا questions اللي لا أوريل لورول.
Okay, well, I'm a little confused that the word I get is the Marines. This is the Marine mission. And then you just said that Lieutenant Savannah and Ray Martinez, they're Navy. So Navy and the Marines are also part of this Koa Moana mission, right?
Yes, I said the Marines are Navy, upora di civilian ngo ngategi di alernay.
Oh, okay.
So, ngari PIO Lobentril, Lieutenant Castro. Ngagi di Marine. Hi, how's it going?
Okay.
Lobentril, hindi, I said, tulig tirang di imol task force, kakarosal branch military.
No, let me clarify that. I understand because I'm former military. I'm retired U.S. Army 23 years. Navy, the Marines doesn't have a department. They're under United States Navy. So they're always together because they share the same department. Am I right?
Yes, sir. And the Navy actually provides all the medical support for the Marine Corps. So you're always going to be integrated very closely. The most well-known is probably our corpsmen that are always out with the Marines.
Right. Okay. Welcome to Palau.
Thank you. We're happy to be here.
All right. Okay, let's continue.
Okay. So lang itulig mong sa higit nito sisiyo format at so mga niyang itil questions sa birar adalo makadong malupta text sa lengwara PIO 775-1138.
All right.
Martel direct lobong gumama, of course, Uherbelau Incident Commander, Ministry of Health EOC, atol migradeo PIO. Mulingit ra term lomul maskida.
Updates. Okay. Retail.
Oy, ngulog singa tulir. Kora di mo breda update terigi dale ngaringa rokya hariki dan bai wasa dal masdri rate al.
Okay.
Ngaringa ngira adara blum. Akora di mo all taigal number regi dara tirge rokul wal kora repatriated and residents, material kora essential workforce, el mlamer al Uherbelau ra serado mu ra awalila last month dal kora optitri el May. So far up to el alsilseng ngaringia 318 al adra Uherbelau el mlame sois tigel mara Uherbelau el mlame sois tirga ulimu klus tigel mlara saiwang el mlara medical referral tigel ngalget el namo mara school al ngarataywa matirigel mlar umaray rakwa malmel do tingel wasit stranded residents ma aral school dire kamla momre kal ngara school mla modiril mermay adire kal tirigel mlara huriping dire kal lora uguru lama a school e gairil stil mermay dire kal lulimo kartelo ur 318 na tirgai del الأدرى Koa Moana الدودنجل وسيستم ل 122 ورسال مي هذه قل ترجع بس السيفيك أكشن تيم members الملي ل agents ترجع الميرايل من ويسي من 318 لملامي تيروغوي الملورا كورنتين ما صار ما تقلوا سي ترجع روغول هذا الملي سويس الملورا كورنتين time kada na release ra 219 ra quarantine MLL seals ang 99 ar adal made el ngar al legal quarantine sa sergis ay gagi dele trigal wal aranglela repatriated the residents sergis 167 na trigal soldado trigal military 143 trigal kamodong active as essential workers sa 8 Seldovara Tirgan repatriated the residents again, total 367, 86 Tiram Labora Blue, 81 Nangara a quarantine in all time. Telukapora military at the Namu 142, 137 of Laga releases Tiral Mora Blue, Ludimu Kurtila Gidel Adra Koa Moana. 6 in all time Mangara quarantine.
I see.
Trial book essential workers labing si Tril May ang total ra 8 awan nable the release ringi lenggeng kele lab specialist mla Taiwan al May mangpamle ngol ngasel kidra al selala bergi del trainer da de direct lu ngasel merula igal test durur el al numero al buila nge do ngelo semla kairil morabel wal nan mutal mora at Taiwan mga dawre nga surira at Taiwan arsegi del ngesol biskin el al til set the 7 ngara adir ngara quarantine the essential workers ngara quarantine el al time.
When you say essential workers, those workers are government employees, right?
So sir dudula sing essential workers tulige tirige Ngoranganya gagi del Maclod project tergi del Lorul to buni tiale
airport
tiale landfill ngarai beli tiale oceans igale Vasura oceans tergi del Masmok tergi del la conference
ocean conference in morning December why say
so gagi del walgora 3 major project del dodege wasing ongoing ya dal sabe del gora umos leuro ramla mo alam mga hukta stopa rio ren wala kakaraw do yetelaw do wal girel malamol mang girel nga nga timeline ang tapalo
ula ko kere riterang ngaring nila tinga kalwas nga nga other nga el May el private tangara private companies and so Uherbelau ma explain it was impossible le tirger lang asugum for example adias construction company ang architect el merura tial ocean conference facility malubang airport and possible nga nga mesois will assign them regular companies so lang ang di government prioritize it because needs is prioritized needs girela tial ocean conference sa idea lang sa evaluation for example ang October mura surang lensan so WCTC they come in a government bring them in because pending already time at your geda says LYC Okay. Oh,
mongkora dimle also mangka kakere dimle gigi awal kora update nga kare.
Arnya akir.
Abo.
Okay, nga hamal I have a long ears. Kamim a self flight till Honolulu Guam. I heard that there were passengers positive on board and the entire flight was placed on the quarantine in Guam. Is that fake news or what?
Ela se dira kalklaw da ngir mama wase maral mlaringia se el one ragay el gigi del adal positive el naraskoki mang tulu ay masira low ay se tirge gigi del ugul nairi tul adal narselskoki am lora quarantine
mang maral to koy. Okay. Hindi lakat sis Uherbelau.
May sa tuloy ka pekal Sunday nga ni sa regional call of Ontario at CDC ma WHO at tutaw ko WHO na ringi Uherbelau. Ito na report sa oy maran na ning yigit imong tiang while ngara tulong lel Hawaii makwameng ito lo madingin lasing positive.
I see.
Ang ilo test ringi mo may the result ito mere mas skogi hindi while at ngara tulong lel Hawaii marakwam. Yar adal ngara kwam manginingil mo mukha ngi abay lo madingin ito lo subilo ay sira. Adara public health ra kwam lo sing nganing gagid alamam me imla to the result ringi positive so kung da sa sige di amle decision ra government ra kwam lo sing di imola adal positive and di trigger rogul nurse flight tamora quarantine regardless lo sing nani test tir maluban dia.
Okay. Okay.
May sa tulig ko do besa ra kwam ang malkora tinlekul overnight timlok to ka case.
I see.
So 28 cases ra biltigra within the last 24 hours 13 na niya dimnar sa Lablu 11 amle through ra contact tracing at tewang amla ra travel mit walbla ra quarantine ito mitigit din mo ngora talgibel erdo madang tulig ang das sa kada direct nos modi la last talk show maluban dia kandi governor ako lieutenant governor tadidul lo tested positive talgibel ko ra so baka mudul gidel sere la time ra ko man gukora pamesringin gukmaran morba bay sila case
what's it
include to mo talgibel do illegal dealer reader essential workers kung das sel definition ng gimo sparing ira ministry ra health o setra adra public safety mar military mar adra health mar members sa diplomatic corps mar adra tira oriol wa engineers mar rogul adang niya really critical infrastructure backload project ma tokoira utilities sa dengibu ma sewer maran magigidi ako ra sa edulong modong lasing essential workers essential services ma direct transportation at tokoira shipping ma olidiura rada ma aklalo.
Okay, mengja necessary la se tiga madi adra government nga employees ra tostal company di kel company ang ilapit e winra project the first project ra government et melo yaksay gidong wasay
oise tulig kita matangil wasing direct kal ministry ra health ma hospital man sum matamala baby equipment and dia technicians lon island mangida dal mosig tirgay adra ay Uherbelau me sois tirgay direct kal essential workers mar adra level sugum mo o ngani atte level kora ngoy titira ber mutul tokol adra level me only sergi de tigay dim direct kal essential workers and not necessarily ta adra government.
And it's cheaper to bring a specialist to Palau than send a patient to Taiwan or Philippines, right?
May say kora sa dalo maran la
may say. Okay. Okay, kadal mon.
Daga tulig at sugum intigra andir ka kakere.
Oh, indir ka.
Pai dong te almestil tigay dil buk to go bet selo kya kagi.
Okay.
So thank you Lieutenant Dean and Martinez for joining us this evening. Lieutenant Castro. We were just explaining at the beginning that we wanted to invite you to come to the twice a week we have this talk show, COVID-19 talk show with Mr. Diaz on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And since we had the opportunity to meet with you earlier this week, we were able to ask you guys to come down and just maybe share some insights on the process and the experience you guys had with coming down to Palau and some of the measures that we were able to implement with the quarantining and testing, and once you got here, some of the measures that we put in place, and then maybe shed some light on the mission itself and, if possible, the health aspects of it, given that you are the medical team for the task force. So we want to thank you, and if there's questions you guys are willing to answer from the public, that would be great as well.
Of course. Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you for having us. Appreciate it. So I'll speak to well, actually, first of all, Mr. Diaz, thank you for your service.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Rangers lead the way. Go Army. So first of all, the health and safety of our task force personnel, as well as the Palauan community, is at the it's at the forefront of what we're worried about and concerned. So we wanted to make sure we had effective mitigation efforts, and those were quarantining back in Camp Pendleton, California. We did that for 2 weeks. We had a COVID-19 test conducted. All results came back negative. We had another 7 days of quarantine after that. We then went onto our ship with 3 weeks transit time approximately, all quarantined. When we arrived here in Palau, we were greeted by a very efficient health screening team where they took our temperature. We did a declaration of health form, and then we had our first test here in Palau. Those results all came back negative, which was great. I thought this surveillance team that came to screen us did a fantastic job with PPE and integrating with our medical personnel to conduct the testing.
Right.
We then continued our quarantine out in Palulu for another 2 weeks, where we had our third COVID-19 test, second here in Palau.
Right.
Again, the Palau screening team came through, conducted temperature checks as well as the test. They did a fantastic job, and the results all came back negative, and we were able to be released from quarantine with a letter from the Ministry of Health, and we're able to conduct our military operations here. And I believe that Lieutenant Savannah Dean can talk more to those operations.
I see. How long did it take for you guys to get here from Camp Pendleton, you said?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. How long did it take for you to get here?
It was approximately 3 weeks, a little over 3 weeks to get here.
So you guys should be cleared from this. Why did you have to go to, if you arrive here and then test it again and you don't have no positive personnel on board, then you should just, release. If I was in charge, I'll let you guys go. I'm just kidding. Okay.
So we were just very concerned with the health and safety, and we wanted to make sure we followed all the rules set forth by the Ministry of Health. And again, it was a great effort on their part initially when we first got here, and it continued all the way through our second test. So I think they did a great job with doing the quarantine and doing the testing here for us, and we were able to get out squeaky clean. We're ready to conduct business here.
Okay. So how long are you guys going to be here? Do you know?
Our end date keeps moving a little bit out, which is wonderful because we get to spend a little bit more time with you guys. We definitely look forward to it. So far, we've been able to, even during quarantine, we were able to do a few things that were very remote areas. So our engineers were able to patch a bunch of holes on the runway in Peleliu, which looks great. They also cleared a lot of brush and things like that that were starting to encroach on that runway, making it possible for those planes to land safely and encourage a lot more traveling in that area. And they also started building, after we were cleared from quarantine, on the SWA hut that is going to be housing the medical personnel that stay on Peleliu. And it looks amazing. I got to see it yesterday, and I am so beyond impressed. It's got a nice front porch and everything.
Right.
So besides that, we've also been having our recon Marines doing beach surveys, looking for other areas, just in case any of the ports get fouled during storms. We can provide aid and continue to build that support and support you guys in any way that you guys get in trouble. Also, we've got our EOD team. They were busy out there as well, sweeping for unexploded ordnance left over from World War II, and they were successful. So continuing to keep you guys and us safe, and then any tourists that come in. Some of them were around Quebec, around the airfield, and places like that. So they were very successful. And then my own medical team, we've been working with your medical team and having a great time, not only with the testing and working side by side with them, as well as trying to get everybody in here clean, but also doing some of the exchanges. We've got one of our doctors came in yesterday and did some with ventilators, so that in any case you're more prepared, and also just a lot more information is out there. And then our environmental health officer Ray and our preventive med tech Brian Piscasio have been going around and seeing how you guys operate with environmental health and learning all about vector control and everything like that. They've been nerding out with bugs, is how I look at it as a nurse, but it makes more sense to them. But so far, we've just been very excited to be here and enjoying your wonderful, beautiful country. It's great.
Yeah, we thank you for coming back. You know, you guys built that airstrip, you know, during the Second World War about 70-some years ago, and we haven't done really anything to improve it. So we really appreciate the fact that you guys came back to recondition it or clean it up for us. You know, we don't have the ability to do it really. So we appreciate your team or your government or the Navy and the Marines to come to Palau to help us clean the airport and recondition it where we can all use it. And we
It's
thank
been
you.
our pleasure.
Yeah.
Our engineers that did majority of that work on the airstrip were having a great time and embracing the history that's there, and just enjoying the entire time that they've been there. They have a great personality, and we're excited to be doing the work, which is great.
Okay. So far, how do you like Palau? Palau is a dollar economy, and it's just like a small town in U.S. You know, people speak English, and they, you know, they're very friendly. So how do you like it so far?
I think the most said comment as people came back from the ship after our first nights out were, everybody's so friendly. We love it here.
Yeah.
Everybody's so nice. So I think everybody's overall is that this is the place to be, and we're excited to be here. So I think the longer we get to be here and the more often we get to come back, the better. We like being in here. We like your people. Everybody's so nice. Like, bend over backwards.
All right.
To be.
Thank you for your positive comment about our country and the people. Okay, let's continue.
So, Mr. Diaz, the team has been able to work with us the past couple of days here at the Ministry of Health. Can you guys talk about some of the trainings or some of the engagements you had with our personnel?
Yeah, I'll cover the ones that I've been doing on the medical side, and then Ray can cover the ones on the environmental health side. Yeah. Some of the ones, like I said, the ventilator training went off really, really well. You guys were gifted a lot of different types of ventilators that came from multiple different places. They all have different attachments. So our physician assistant was able to come in and organize a little bit and do a little bit more training on some that you guys weren't as familiar with, which is awesome. And then we also came back today and did some medical bag training for transportation of critically ill patients. You guys do it on boats and in the little small Cessnas, and I've been only trained in helicopters, so this was an eye-opening experience for me to be learning how to strap a patient down on a boat. So I learned a lot. We got to go through your guys' jump bags for medical, and we introduced them to ours as well, so everybody had a nice time learning and exchanging for each other. So we learned some stuff from their bags, and they learned some stuff from ours. Coming up is going to be some engagements over with your EMS, ambulance response. So we'll be once again doing the jump bags training with medical bags, and then also patient transport, how to scoop a patient up and keep them safe while you're transporting them, and do the proper evaluations before you get to the hospital, which is something our corpsmen have been known to be fantastic at, and I think I brag a little bit on my guys, but they're really good at what they do. So I think that training is something we're all looking forward to. And I'll turn it over to Ray.
Thank you. And then on the environmental health side, myself and Brian Pascasio, the preventive medicine technician, have been working with Mr. Calvin Johannes and his team at the Division of Environmental Health. We went out earlier this week to do a side-by-side inspection with the consumer protection section, as well as the food and water safety section of environmental health. We went to one of the convenience stores to see how you guys do your inspections and the standards that you hold the community to, as well as the water plants. We went to two different ones today, and they were both looking really great. The standards that you have here are really, really high, and I appreciate the fact that the personnel at environmental health keep those strict standards, because at the end of the day, like myself, we're here to keep the public and the community safe. And this is just one way that environmental health does it. So it's been fantastic. Tomorrow, I believe, we're going on a community health inspection. So that's something different than what we do in the States. So myself and Brian Pascasio are super excited to learn exactly what that entails and what that looks like. It's something that we can learn from, and we're happy to be here to learn from that. Next week, the schedule looks like it's going to be a little wide open. So on Monday, we're going to sit back down with Mr. Calvin and see what our see what we could book in our schedule to do some subject matter expert exchanges. So it's going to be a good time. And then we get good food in there for lunch and dinner, so I can't complain.
Okay. So overall, how when you look at the environment here in Palau, to me, when I first, about 30 years after I left the military, I retired, I came home, and people, didn't really take care of our environment. So I went on the air, and I was I'm activist, and I was a troublemaker because, I built a radio station, and then I went on the air, and I keep on shouting on government and employees, not to throw trash and everybody. So I was one of the most hated person in Palau at one time before. But now they see what I'm talking about. Palau is very clean now. Yeah, I should get a credit for that, Gaafar. No, just kidding. I have a lot of sense of humor, so don't mind me, okay?
Good, that's good.
All right. Okay, let's do it again. Are we going to be talking about the environment? What do you think about the environment?
I think the environment is beautiful here. As soon as we pulled in on the ship and then I came out to the flight deck, you could just see how clear and blue the water is.
Right.
The land coming out of the ocean was just so lush with just green foliage everywhere. I mean, it's just beautiful. It's like no other place.
Right.
It really is. And what I've learned from working with the environmental health here is that working in the community, they notice that it's a lot of what we call grassroots. So it's homegrown activists like yourself that are, starting to speak up because they want to keep Palau clean and set the example for other countries to follow. So I think you started a trend here, and I'm happy to be a part of it. Right.
And I give a lot of credit to our president, Mangsao. He is he's known as environmentalist. His environment is his number one priority, and he always reminds us to keep our country clean and make trash as our number one enemy. So from the school children all the way up to high school and college, they're all really worried, concerned about the trash. Like when we have a get-together party or function, government functions, there always be a trash can, trash bags. And then after the party or get together, it's clean. Same thing with the Rock Island. We go to the Rock Island, you got to bring your trash bags and bring your trash back to the shore. So we keep our small island country nice and clean and beautiful because we get tourists all over the world. They come to Palau. We want to present our country free of trash, and I think that's also another way of saying that we're COVID-19 free because we have a clean country. Haha.
Yes, it's great. It definitely shows. So a lot of respect and more power to you on that because it's great. It definitely shows.
Okay, thank you for your comment.
Yeah.
So Lieutenant Martinez, have you had a chance to go and look at the mosquito traps that they're doing with the vector control program? So every year, well, not every year, but we've had a recent dengue fever outbreak. It's probably the longest that we've had in history. So like 15-month outbreak. So, and the previous outbreak before that was 2 years ago. So it's becoming an re-emerging issue with dengue fever. So that's something that we're looking at in terms of making it part of a regular response. The level of response has to be enhanced to prevent the outbreak. So have you had a chance to do that with the DH team? Or
So no, not as yet, but we did talk to the entomologist that works at the Division of Environmental Health, and we'll be actually going out to check out the mosquito lab that's here behind the hospital on Monday. And there's a couple other surveillance spots that he would like to take us to, and I believe that's spread out throughout Koror. So I'm actually excited to go take a look and see how you guys operate here, and if we could offer any recommendations, we're more than happy to do that. But I think we'll also learn from the experiences as well.
Yeah, I think with climate change issues and how it relates with health, it's something that we're slowly looking at ways to adapt and scale up our existing operations and services. So that's one thing that's up and coming. I don't know if the military is progressive with climate change. I don't know if it's something that you guys in the armed forces are looking at right now, but I think sooner or later it's going to be something that's got to be more mainstream in terms of especially environmental health, and then I think medicine in general, with public health and health effects of climate change. Yeah. Any questions so far, Mr. Diaz?
Well, there is, but it's. I'm going to wait until they finish, their list of things that they want to say, and then I'm going to ask questions later. I don't want to take over your show, Okay, you haven't heard from Lieutenant Dean. Are you a Lieutenant Dean? Lieutenant or ensign? Are you you're 03 or 04?
I'm an 03.
03.
I'm a lieutenant, yes.
A lieutenant, yes. Okay, in the Army, captain.
So yes, it would be equivalent to an Army captain. Yes,
That's
sir.
right. That's right. Okay, so what have you seen, or you can say that something that we're short of? What have you seen that we should be aware of? Like you can kind of bring us closer to that issue of, for example, we need certain things in the public health. We need certain things to be done. Do you have any recommendation as far as health concern?
As far as health concerns, I think no matter where you live, you're battling the same issues. Preventative medicine is always the best medicine, but it's hard to convince people that they should take time out of their busy schedules and be seen to prevent it or prevent it from being worse. So staying on top of your own health and eating healthy, exercising, those kinds of things. The United States battles it just as much as here or anywhere else. Is just staying on top of your own health and being responsible for it is key.
Mm-hmm. Do you see obesity as a major problem here in Palau?
I've seen obesity, but I've also seen it in the United States. I've seen it in Italy. I've seen it in France. I don't think it matters where you live. It's going to be a thing. We eat well and we like good food, which I can't fault anybody for. You guys have amazing food here. So.
Yeah, well, we were doing okay before the war, and then after you guys left, you see rations, like ready meal. You left a whole bunch of warehouses and warehouses. You know what we did? We start eating those, and then we kind of left our farms, and now we're so used to processed food, which is easier for us to go to the store and get the food, which is not good because the additives and also additives and the chemicals, the preservatives, that is, in those canned food, but we don't have no really choice because we're all working now, and when we come home, we just grab something like something in the can. We go get pizza, and we are eating your food instead of eating our food, and I think that's where the problem comes from, because we eat a lot of processed food, which is most of us goes to America and then learn, that in order to eat good food, you got to go to a restaurant, you got to go and buy it, and everything is ready. But here in Palau, the old days, we go and get our farm going, and that's where we get our food. We harvest our food, but not anymore. And I think that's where obesity comes from, because the food is right there and mixed with all kinds of stuff, and we eat it, and that's when we expand. Okay? That's just an opinion.
I think everybody's entitled to their opinions.
Okay. But see, we don't have McDonald's here. You know what I do? I'm so used to eating hamburgers, McDonald's hamburgers. So what I do every other month, I take a flight, go to Guam and see the American movies, and eat McDonald's and hamburgers from Burger King, Kentucky Fried Chicken, and then come back to Palau. Because I'm really used to it, because I was in the military for 23 years, and that's all the food I had was available for me to eat. I didn't have no choice but eat it, and then now I have a need for it. I miss the taste of it, so I go to Guam and eat it, which is not good for me.
So you don't miss the MREs?
You know what? The last Marines that came from Philippines, they did the training here for a couple months, and they left some MRE. So I gave the last 2 to my friends, because they want to take them when they go fishing. They bring them with them, So I just gave away my last 2, which is a friend of mine from the Marines. Yeah, a friend of mine that I met. They gave me maybe let's say about 5 or 6 of them, and then I ate them all. Just gave away last June. But they're good. They're really good. They don't expire.
Were they used for fishing bait or to eat?
No, to eat. When you go fishing, yeah, we bring them. And when we go fishing, we bring them because, you don't want to bring rice and all of that stuff. That's a lot of trouble. So what we do, we just bring, one MRE, and that's enough for the day.
Yes, they're definitely high in calories.
Yeah, very high in calories, yeah. Okay, so you guys are staying in Peleliu now and then come to Koror at night, or you stay there and work, or what?
We're mostly staying in Koror now, and we still have the engineers that are over on Peleliu finishing up that wonderful hut that we were talking about earlier for the healthcare workers to live in. But yeah, most of us are here on Koror enjoying the atmosphere here and all the shops and everything like that.
Yeah. Well, just to remind you that when you're out there working, cleaning the airport, we have a lot of vegetables there. They call them cannabis. So don't touch them. Don't touch those cannabis because, we need them for medicine.
Very well.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, But anyway, thank you. The airport really, I was in the military, so we hit, all of us that retirees, we go to certain places and then we debate the issue of why all of a sudden you guys are here. And I said, well, our treaty, they provide defense, both sea and air, and they see that we need maybe their presence to scare away some of these people that try to, come into our country and change things around, So thank you for coming because, last October 1st, we were under the bridge that connect Babeldaw and Koror, and two B-52 flew over, just to show the strength of force and also remind those who wants to mess with us that our friends America is still around, so don't mess with us, So not only that you do the cleaning here, but also show your presence here that you are watching us and watching our country and protect us from any possible enemies. Because the way the world is right now, they're fighting and claiming islands and stuff like that, and we're afraid of this big country when they come in and take over Palau, just a matter of hours. So thank you for coming, and your presence here also remind other people that you are here protecting us, so they don't mess with us.
It's our pleasure to be here to strengthen our partnership between our two countries.
Yeah.
I think that, if anything, it's definitely been a give and take with all of us, and we've been happy to work with you and your Ministry of Health and make sure that we're working as a team.
Right.
Yeah, very humbled and honored to be a part of the task force and work with the partner nation here. It's great in Palau. It's a wonderful experience, and I don't want it to end.
Right. It's still our compact treaty with the United States allow young men and women every year. Recruiters come down here, Marine Corps, Air Force, Army, they come down here and recruit. So we send out about average of 20 to 35 people, men and women, to join the military every year.
That's really good. As long as they're joining the Navy, I don't have an issue with that.
No, really. I told them. I told them. I said, they asked me which branch of military it should be, and I told them, I said, Army, because we don't deploy really. You join the Navy. You join the Navy. You're gonna have 6 months, on board of some kind of a vessel out there. So most of our people join the Army because I told them. I said, well, you join the Army. You join the Air Force, you're on land all the time, so you can go to school to further your education. So I'm sorry to say that, but most of them are in the Army.
Cool.
That's right.
So along those lines, one of the major problems that we face in not just Palau but the Pacific is a shortage of a health workforce. So maybe if the two of you can also share like what route made you. Where did you start off, and what made you go into the health and public health fields?
Wonderful.
And especially being in the military.
Yeah, to be honest, I absolutely love my job. I love who I get to take care of and what I get to do. How could I not? It brings me to beautiful places like this, so I can't really argue with it. But on top of it, as I specialize in critical care and also emergency room nursing, and I've been doing it for about 7.5 years now. I joined with a sense of service, and then also I just love the idea of taking care of people that really needed that care, and it would take me places that I could care for others that need care as well, not just U.S. citizens, but more. I think that nursing was a calling that I had from a very young age. I liked taking care of people, and it's definitely fit my personality.
So were you a nurse first and then you joined? Or?
I was, yeah. I worked as a long-term care and rehab facility nurse for a hot second, and then the Navy rescued me. And I went to San Diego and got my full nursing wings there and got my feet under me and continued on up, and I've been able to continue that challenge. And the Navy has been able to give me that challenge every single time I felt like I've kind of mastered a situation. They're like, oh, well, we can throw another thing in there that you can learn. So I've been continuing education. I've had continuing challenges, which I like. And I've just been learning and experiencing, and I've seen the world, and I've seen all these different things in healthcare progress in multiple different ways. And it's been a very humbling and awe-inspiring life so far that I keep joking that I'll keep staying in until it's not fun anymore, but I keep having a blast. So I think they're stuck with me for a while at least. But I absolutely love being a nurse, and a nurse first. We joke because in the Navy we have 2 collar devices. One symbolizes which corps we're part of, so I have the Nurse Corps leaf. And if you see, Ray over here has a little twiggy on his. So it symbolizes that, I'm a nurse on this side, but I have my rank on the other collar. And I think I use my leaf side a lot more often than I use my rank side. And that's very common with medical. So I enjoy it, and I love it. And anybody that's thinking about doing anything like this is welcome to come and talk to us. We love our jobs, and every single one of my team is very, very passionate about their jobs. I got very lucky in the first draw with everybody that was selected for this team for Task Force Koa Moana's medical. I got very lucky. Everybody's so experienced and passionate about their job and very smart. So I think I got really, really lucky as the OIC for this. Ray?
Yeah, and for myself, I joined a long time ago, almost 18 years now, and joined out of high school. It was a year after 9/11 happened out in the United States. I wasn't doing too good in high school, actually. I had a really rough run at it. I didn't graduate on time. I graduated late in the summer. Figured I wasn't going to go to college, and the Army recruiter came to my house and was bugging. He was bugging me too much, and I said, no, I don't want to join the Army. No. My grandmother wanted me to join the Navy, so I joined the Navy. She raised me. She taught me how to be compassionate and loving, and that really grew inside me. Mm-hmm. So the service really called me. But the Navy recruiter got me right, got me straight. Finished school late in the summer. Joined the Navy about a month later and have been in ever since. I gravitated towards the medical field as a corpsman, or to you would probably be a medic in the Army equivalent. Did that for a long time, gravitated towards preventive medicine. Always felt myself wanting to affect the public versus like one patient at a time. Right. So public health just drew me. So someone who didn't graduate high school on time, got his bachelor's, the Navy paid for it completely in environmental science. Then the Navy paid for me to get my master's in public health with a concentration in environmental science. And almost 18 years later, I've been doing public health for such a long time. It's something I want to continue to do. It's something I enjoy doing in the Navy, because not only do I keep the Marines and sailors safe, and the Army too. We do serve with the Army, so keep the personnel safe. But it's the communities that are around us, our loved ones that support us during times that we're away, get to keep them safe too. So it's been a calling. It's been a great ride, and I want to do it until they kick me out. So yeah. Right.
What about the family separation? Are you married?
I am. Yes.
Okay,
I have a wife at home with an 11-year-old boy, Ethan.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're going to be separated for a while, about 18 months. How long are you going to be here?
No, not that long. Over the 18 years, I think I've missed every birthday, holiday back home. So. She's very supportive and respects what I do, and we have a pretty good relationship where we can still talk and You know, back in the day, it was really tough. You had to write letters home, and it would take months. You don't even know if they get. But now you have Facebook, FaceTime, MySpace, all that stuff.
So you stay in touch.
The InstaSpace and all the Twittergram, all that stuff. So it's really good.
Any combat duty? Have you been to Iraq and Baghdad and all of those places?
Yeah. So when I was enlisted as a corpsman, I did a tour to Iraq and a tour to Afghanistan.
And then I did a tour to Afghanistan.
I did 2 years back to back in Vietnam.
Much respect. Welcome home.
Okay.
Welcome home.
Thank you. Yeah, it's when you're away, especially when you have a family, you know, and then you go overseas and on a company tour, so you have to be away that long. It's really bad for the kids, you know, during the long separation. And that's something that being in the military, you have to be ready for it. You know, there'll be a time that you're going to be called to serve other countries where you cannot bring your family, and you're going to be there for the duration of the tour. And sometimes, you know, you have to have a strong family, better understanding. So during the separation, you know, you guys are lucky because you have a Facebook and all of that stuff, so you can talk back and forth. But during my days, oh man, you know, we have divorce rate in the military at that time was, you know, really bad. Yeah, so, but now, you know, with the Facebook and everything, you know, that problem is minimized now. Yeah, you're lucky because when you came to Palau, you thought that Palau is a remote island, doesn't have any internet. Okay, what was your perception of when you were told you're going to Palau? I know you had a orientation, you know, you're going to Palau, this is how it looks. So you guys have some kind of a in-country orientation or, some kind of discussion about coming to Palau, be aware of this. Because when you go to Vietnam, there's certain things you cannot do. They tell us make sure you wash your vegetables 30 minutes and with the Clorox, you know, 1 teaspoon of Clorox to 1 gallon of water and wash your vegetables for 30 minutes, something like that. We go through that. Did you guys have some kind of orientation before you came here?
Yes, we actually put together a health brief, forced health protection brief, and it included, like your water snakes that can get you and things like that to make sure that they weren't touching things they weren't supposed to. You can tell a Marine to stay away from the wildlife, but they will find a crab to chase after. So that's been an interesting experience.
Yeah.
But we got like the cultural brief so that we weren't going to be disrespectful, and the forced health protection to make sure that everybody was, you know, putting sunblock on that we issued them, so it was compliant with your guys' environmental rules. So we were trying to be very respectful and of our partnership and abide by those rules and guidelines that you guys have in place.
Yeah, there's one thing that you have to be, have to put up with is our betel nut culture. Betel nut is part of our culture. We chew betel nut, you know. Not all of us, but, you know, some of us chew betel nut. It's kind of nasty, but, please understand, you know, that's part of our culture. So be aware.
Yeah, we did get briefed on it, and then actually I got a lesson on how to put it all together today. Did
you chew?
No, I can't. I think
you get high.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
I don't even smoke cigarettes or anything. I'm not very interesting in that sense. I don't do anything.
Yeah, don't try it because once you become hooked up to it, you know, it's going to be hard to. You know, I when I first came back from military, you know, I want to be part of the group, you know, so I started chewing. I fixed my back, but I quit about 6 months ago because, you know, I'm getting old and my teeth start hurting, you know, so I decided to quit, you know.
Oh, congratulations on quitting. That's wonderful.
Yeah. But anyway, that's for you to understand that we do have some, in our culture, so we do it, but we know that it's not really good, you know, so we're try to find a way to get rid of it, you know.
But yeah, so far we've enjoyed being a part of your culture and learning more about it. And the more time we spend here, the more I think we're falling in love with your guys' culture overall. Mm-hmm. So thank you so much for having us. We really are enjoying our time here.
Yeah, and Gaafar, these guys when they came in, Did you have a list of things you want to learn from them or work with them and try to improve our health facilities?
I think they covered most of the activities that we were able to partner up with them, and starting with the housing in the Peleliu Community Health Center dispensary. And then this week, like what they mentioned, we were able to conduct some in-person training with our nurses and some of our physicians.
Oh, that's good. That's really good.
To go over the equipment that we may need for that first case of COVID. And then Lieutenant Martinez has been working with our environmental health folks to look at the services that we provide for the community and the different work that they do. So yeah, again, we thank them for the activities that we've been able to do with them, and hopefully it'll be part of a more permanent part of the mission every 2 years when you guys come to have that medical or health aspect that we can partner up with and look at small projects.
Definitely.
We would love that.
Yeah.
I mean, so far, both sides, I think, are learning so much. So I think that helps with the partnership overall and that growth on both sides, which is great.
And I think, Mr. Diaz, this really comes to show that even a pandemic, it might slow us down a little bit, but it just shows that we need to keep things moving and ensure that the other other health issues and public health issues aren't neglected because of a pandemic. So this mission is a testament to that. That there's always going to be a risk with the pandemic, but we took all the precautions and the preventive measures that we could to minimize that risk, and then here we are with the mission that's going forward, and it's proving to be very fruitful for both parties.
Okay. All right. What's Lieutenant Martinez? Do you have any prediction of about when they're going to have this vaccine? Because I heard in the news tonight that the Russians offered the vaccine that they haven't tested, but they claim to be the first one to come up with vaccine, and at the same time they said, well, the Philippine government already purchased so much of it, and they're going to try to immunize their people. What do you think? How far is the United States away from this vaccine? Are we going to be able to, what's your prediction? Are we going to be able to see the vaccine by Christmas time?
Mr. Diaz, that's a very good question. Unfortunately, I do not have a solid answer for you on that. I've really been focused on keeping the health and safety of our task force and the Palauan community at the forefront of my brain. So I've really been focused on making sure we're doing our COVID-19 mitigation efforts when we started in California and ended here. So I think that this is a great opportunity for us to grow our partnership here with Palau and set the example for future forces that come here, that we can work together in the midst of a pandemic.
Right. Okay. Well, just keep our fingers crossed and pray and hope that the vaccine will be here before Christmas or by Christmas time. Yeah. Okay. Well, we got about 5 more minutes, ladies, gentlemen, Gaafar. So if you have anything to say or to put out, we have the mic is on you, and then when you finish, go ahead and say goodbye to our guests. And
I think we'll allow
Mr. Diaz. This is Lieutenant Castro.
All right.
How's it going? I met you last year. I was standing right by you when the 2 planes flew over.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, you looked a little scared when they flew over.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it's gonna, I didn't know that's gonna be that low,
Yeah, it was pretty amazing, right?
Yeah. And I made a comment. I made a comment, and I said, "Hey, Chinese, look at these guys. They're showing, they're flexing their muscles. Don't mess with us. Sometimes I say things, and I look at the politicians. Why you say that? Because some of them are friends with our local politicians, and they didn't like my comment, but that's their problem."
I definitely do remember that. I just wanted to make an announcement that this weekend we're actually having a softball game. It's going to be 3 Marine Corps teams with, they're going to be competing against the U.S. Embassy and a Palauan team and the CAT team. So if you guys are available this weekend, it starts at 2 o'clock and we will be at Mayans Field think I said that right?
Miyuns. Oh, okay.
Yes.
So can I come and watch?
You can definitely come and watch.
But I'm going to bring my beer with me because I cannot watch the beer.
You're more than welcome to. Yep, it's going to be a friendly, competitive game.
Yeah. Okay. Wait, I said, when you say Castronas, I remember, Castro that was here last year.
It's the same one.
Yeah, same one. Okay. Hey, we'll come back. We'll come back.
Thank you very much.
All right. Okay.
Tulik ang koradi sa dalo maklat ka ada blu unja ka maklat kan dia do wai selwase yang gegi de ro test el bladru la di negative mang dia kasmer el alsil sing lo sabe el tester tirigel ngara quarantine tirigel ngara ya gidele tirigel ngara kwamel me tirigel essential workers el me tirigel quarantine result tra tester tira mo ready ra klugo mendirga ka ngagidira kamlam maya ko lamatek selmel waseng maral ngari yasme ra covid mendito mamel lowai selwase el alta mendirga asme ra covid mendirga ka test positive rais egel rogol test blood conduct namo over 1,400.
But we are ready for just in case if there's a positive, we're ready to accommodate that problem, right?
Ngari nga planner gidel was tested for ngari nga katong barangay.
Oh, okay. Dia ka bagi class ko ngani am identifier ngi lo sing smear ang gayta positive mergo yang ara sel Uherbelau and there's a system almost per ngi el router ngel aven more appropriate el basyo, right?
May set tulik.
Okay. Ngari el atirgel la sugo for example to check out other merde el ngara ko am men so happen ko matigraat lo asanga positive lang lengaria symptoms ngi kom test ngi engaged on separate isolation area mo isolated.
We said tulik actually we've come a long way since early on this year lang sa either time dim na kasi test mong tamuro screening report di kom na niya skogi mong to kar other the screener planner sa either time was other kora aongi tamalubong makayal ng ngarang kurangan niya symptoms sa ringi adabora ngulmar secondary screening man mo ngil 3 hindi kita ngat kadala mo mrura quarantine sa igi dia direct tara ablabo doru ringi dim na doru ringi raway sa igi del lobong gela test sa bed el minimize sa igi del sukum maral nga niya adal smer may yang minimize sa igi del TL lober kal moral sa lablu Puyot tergida omde may case al sugo mangaringi ra quarantine 14 days malug sa igidil kalsela
okay
quarantine
okay hal gulum sumatilal di mo la gulum sumatilal kester
ay malug
okay I want to take this opportunity and welcome all of you how you say that Moana Koa Moana team members we welcome you to Palau and thank you for render services that you are doing right now, and I hope that we can continue to work together. And when we need you, you always be there. So let's continue to have that relationship, and we thank you again. Okay, the Lieutenant Dean and also Lieutenant Martinez, and also the MOC and EOC members. Thank you so much, and that will be the end of our program. If you want to say anything. All of you guys, you can go ahead and I'll give you a microphone and you say whatever you want to say, and then we close the program.
So long.
Okay.
All right.
So long, Mr. Diaz. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. All right. Gaafar, thank you. Have a nice weekend, everybody.
Thank you.
Okay. Can you turn off? Oh, thank you for being with us today. We had tonight we had 3 guests: Lieutenant Castro, and also Lieutenant Dean and Lieutenant Martinez from Koa Moana Task Force. They came to Palau to help us cleaning the airstrip at Peleliu. and we're lucky that this task force came here ready with the heavy equipment, and they do a lot of repair work at school and airport and other facilities in Peleliu mainly. So we thank you so much, and thank you for being with us. Kohan Sularogui, kami Uherbelau program. Bye bye now. Have a nice weekend.